moment of decision lingers in the air like a held breath. The weight of familiarity, of comfort, of routine presses down, urging one to stay, to compromise, to endure, to settle. But then, a shift, a quiet realization. The power is not in clinging, it is in letting go. Walking away is not an escape but an assertion. It is the silent yet resounding declaration that one's worth is not dictated by circumstance, nor by the whims of others. It is the moment the unseen chains fall away, the moment a person reclaims their voice, their dignity, their path. In that act, everything changes. The balance tilts. The one who once pleaded, waited, or hoped is now the one who decides. And as they turn, as they step forward, something remarkable happens. What was once pursued now follows. What was once taken for granted is now valued. The absence speaks louder than presence ever could. But more than shifting the perceptions of others, walking away transforms the self. The fear of loss fades, replaced by the quiet confidence that there is always something greater ahead. The world does not shrink, it expands. New doors appear where before there were only walls. And so, with steady steps and a heart unburdened, they walk, not with regret, not with hesitation, but with the quiet knowing that leaving is sometimes the most powerful thing one can do. The path ahead is uncertain, yet there is no turning back. Each step away from what was, be it a place, a person, or a life once known, feels lighter, as if shedding a weight that was never meant to be carried. The world does not collapse in their absence. Instead, it shifts, revealing what was hidden beyond the walls of hesitation. There is an odd silence after walking away. The echoes of the past still whisper, tempting one to reconsider, to return to what is familiar. But familiarity is not the same as fulfillment. The mind wrestles with the uncertainty of the unknown, yet the soul knows. This is the way forward. With every moment that passes, the realization grows stronger. Power was never in the grasping, never in the waiting, never in the endless struggle to be seen, heard, or valued by those who never truly did. Power was always in the ability to choose, to release, to step beyond. And soon something remarkable happens. The absence of what was makes space for what could be. The emptiness is not loss, it is possibility. A new path, a new purpose, a new self begins to take shape. The past does not define them. The act of leaving was not an end, but a beginning. The journey continues, not with hesitation, but with quiet certainty. What was left behind fades into the distance. What lies ahead is limitless. The air feels different now, lighter, freer. The weight of old expectations, once a constant presence, has dissolved into the past. There is no more waiting, no more seeking approval, no more bending to fit into spaces too small for the soul. Walking away was not just a departure, it was an awakening. The world, once confined by the limits of what was tolerated, now stretches wide with possibility. There is no rush, no urgency to fill the space left behind. Instead, there is peace in the unknown, in the quiet understanding that absence is not emptiness, but an invitation for something greater. Doubt still lingers at times, whispering in the quiet hours, asking if the choice was right. But deep within, the answer is already known. If something had truly belonged, it would not have required suffering to hold on to it. If a place, a person, or a path demanded the sacrifice of self-worth, it was never meant to be stayed in. With every step forward, confidence grows, not in external validation, but in the unwavering belief that nothing truly good requires begging to keep. The world does not reward those who cling, but those who know when to let go. And so, with steady breath and an open heart, they move forward, not looking back, not waiting, not wondering what might have been, only embracing what is yet to come. The road ahead is quiet, unmarked by the familiar voices that once shaped the path. But there is no loneliness here, only clarity. Walking away was never about abandonment. It was about reclaiming space, about making room for something that aligns, something that does not require shrinking to fit. Each morning now carries a different weight, not of burden, but of choice. No longer bound by expectations that once dictated every move, The days are now owned, shaped by intention rather than obligation. The need for approval, once a heavy chain, is gone. In its place, a quiet confidence grows, not loud, not seeking attention, but firm, unwavering. There is power in this stillness, in knowing that nothing was truly lost. What was left behind was never security, never love, never belonging. It was illusion. The real loss would have been staying, settling, surrendering to something less than what was meant to be. Now every step forward is lighter. The world begins to shift, not because it changed, but because perception did. Opportunities appear where once there were only dead ends. New connections emerge, unforced, effortless, built not on need but on genuine alignment. The past no longer calls, it has no hold. The present is enough. The future waits, not with uncertainty, but with quiet promise. Walking away was not just an end. It was the beginning of something far greater. The horizon stretches wide, limitless, filled with unknowns. But this time, there is no fear, only certainty. Walking away was never about loss. It was about returning to oneself, to freedom, to a life that finally, fully belongs. The journey is no longer about escape. It is no longer about proving strength by leaving, nor about mourning what was left behind. It is simply about moving forward, without hesitation, without doubt, without looking back. There is a quiet transformation happening, not sudden or dramatic, but steady and certain. What once felt like a loss now feels like a gift. The space created by walking away has filled itself, not with distractions, not with fleeting replacements, but with something deeper, self-trust. No longer is there a need to seek permission, to wait for the world to affirm that the decision was right. The proof is in the feeling, in the lightness of existence, in the absence of conflict, in the newfound ability to breathe without the weight of old expectations pressing down. There is no resentment for the past, only gratitude. Every experience, every moment of struggle, every hesitation before that final step away, it all led to this. The realization that nothing external was ever the source of fulfillment, that freedom was never about distance, but about detachment, that the real power was not in the walking away itself, but in knowing one never needed to stay. Now the road ahead is clear, not because it is mapped out, not because certainty is guaranteed, but because there is no longer fear in the unknown. Whatever comes next will come, and whatever does not was never meant to. With steady breath and an open heart, they move forward, not with questions, not with regrets, only with the quiet understanding that they are exactly where they are meant to be. The journey has changed, no longer defined by leaving, nor by the echoes of the past. It is now simply a journey of becoming. Walking away was never the final act, it was only the beginning. The real transformation was never in the distance gained, but in the person who emerged on the other side. There is no more need to explain, no lingering desire to be understood by those who never truly saw. The past is neither an anchor nor a shadow, it just is. A chapter closed, a lesson learned, a path that led here, but does not need to be walked again. Now the world feels different, not because it has changed, but because the one walking through it has. The need for validation has faded, replaced by an unshakable knowing. Everything lost was never truly meant to stay, and everything meant to be will find its way in its own time. There is peace here, not the fragile kind that depends on circumstances, but the kind that remains even in uncertainty, the kind that does not waver when storms rise, the kind that does not chase, nor cling, nor fear. And so they walk, not away, not toward, just forward, with open hands, with an open heart, fully here, fully free.